And we raised almost $40,000.
That's what I'm saying. Get to it. Get to the money. We did this and we got the money.
This is Bottomlineburke. Respect. The expensive truth with Bottomlineburke. The expensive truth with Bottomlineburke. The expensive truth with Bottomlineburke.
And that's straight to the bottom line.
Welcome back for another episode of The Expensive Truth with Bottomlineburke. You know, in life, you always got to go home. And I know sometimes the hardest place to go is home. But this one's going to be a delightful one. I'm actually looking forward to going home. And speaking of home, my guest Jennifer and I went to Boston College. And for all my roommates and all of my teammates at Boston College, they know during that time in my dorm room, I only had two walls. One was smothered with Allen Iverson. Mm-hmm. The other one was with Jennifer Lopez. But I wanted to make sure I send a shout out and bring some recognition to Allen Iverson, one of our GOATs, definitely a transcendent player, a generational player, top 3 greatest point guards, top 5 greatest shooting guards of all time. And he was a game changer, and he definitely inspired me to be the greatest version of myself. So I wanted to take this moment. His book is called Misunderstood. I haven't had a chance to read it quite yet. As you can see, I got a litany of books right here. But more importantly, shout out to AI, Bubba Chuck.
The original AI.
The original AI. You know what I mean? We got questions, he got answers. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this young lady I'm about to introduce to you guys and girls, we go back to BC. We have a lot of familiar running spots. Rhode Island was a very common place. But today, I'm extremely proud of what Jennifer has evolved into as a beautiful young lady and as a shrewd businesswoman. We're going to talk a little bit about her transition from the workforce into having her own company for the last 9 years, not just in the domestic market. She actually plays in the international market as well. And she also has a consulting company and service for those aspiring young ladies and men who also want to start their own business. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, once a BC Eagle, always a BC Eagle. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jamal.
I'm so happy you finally made it here.
I know. We've been long overdue.
We were. And, you know, I've been in Atlanta for 4 years. And I don't even think I've seen you 4 times.
Literally, because I think the first time we ran into each other was like when you first got here, right? And it was at the gathering spot, and I was there at an event.
Markel was
with
there.
Markel.
Shout out to Markel Blunt.
Yes, Markel, he's awesome.
The serial networker.
Yes, serial connector. And I just connected with him because he had just come into town. And then ran into you. I was like, BC reunion.
I know. Make sure you come a little closer with the mic. But that was at the gathering spot, and the CEO of Candidly, the scheduling app, he was talking about it and stuff like that. So, phenomenal businessman he is. Mm-hmm. And Touche, you have developed yourself just as far as sheer grit, hard work, dedication, building your own company. Can you just describe what exactly does your business responsibilities and duties entail?
So I founded International Supply Partners when I first moved out here to Atlanta. At the time I was married. I was a stay-at-home mom. Yeah. 6 kids in the house.
Woo! Sorry.
Yeah. And I had always been an entrepreneur, and at that time I was just like, okay, I need something for myself. And I wanted to do business with the government. Okay. I know that the federal government spends the most money. They're the largest consumer in the country.
Wow, okay.
Or even in the world. And
Did you know that prior to, or is that
Yes.
something you stumbled? Okay.
I knew that prior to because I lived in Maryland, D.C. And when I lived there, I sold life insurance to federal employees
Okay.
and government contractors. So I had clients that were government contractors, and they were making good money.
Right. With the
Good,
contracts. Yes.
good
Yes.
money.
Yes.
And so I was just like, I'm going to do that too.
Right.
And I was just like, well, I'm going to sell the most basic, boring thing that the government is always going to need. And I was
Right.
like, pencils and paper.
There's a heavy demand.
It's a heavy demand.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I started November 4th, 2016.
I love it.
And by March, I was fully certified. I had all of my minority certification, women-owned certification. So I was certified with the federal government. I was certified with local government. But quickly learned that I was not able to compete the way that I had imagined.
Right.
Because I was sourcing a lot of my products through other distributors.
Okay. Now the distributors, and like you said, the same opportunity that you've seen millions of other, entrepreneurs and businessmen and women have seen that as well. What was the adjustment that you had to make once you realized that in order to be competitive in that space as well?
So what I realized is in order to be competitive, I needed to go to the source. And growing up in Rhode Island was, before the big transition, there was a lot of manufacturing. So
Okay.
my parents worked in manufacturing. All of my siblings worked in manufacturing. And so I knew how things were made because I remember walking the manufacturing plant floors and seeing how things were done. And so I was just like, I'm going to go straight to the manufacturer and work with them directly to source a lot of the products. And that's
Okay.
when I kind of broke the code in regards to figuring out how to be competitive.
Okay. Now, what's changed and what's remained the same looking at it from this vantage point to where you started?
What's different now is, well, I'll go back. Me as a person, I've always been curious about how things are done from the beginning.
Okay.
So if something happens or something is made, I want to understand how did it get to that point?
Right.
And so that curiosity led me to understand manufacturing and then go into supply chain and understand how things are impacted. And because so many manufacturers are abroad, I needed to understand, okay, why is your pricing different? What is going on with your economy? What's going on geopolitically? How does that impact the cost prices? How do I get that here to the States? What is my landed cost? What are the other costs that come that implicate where I'm going to make a profit?
Okay.
And then understanding the raw materials, how things are sourced, where things are made the best. So if you look at the globe, every part of the world is better at certain things
Right.
than others.
Specialties.
Specialties,
Right.
skill sets, or access to raw materials, craftsmanships. Certain things are just done better in certain regions of the world.
Now you had to engage, I would imagine, in a bevy of different negotiations. Like you said, different sources depending on geographically are more stringent, tougher because they know they got quality.
Yeah.
Versus other places. What are some memorable negotiations that help shape who you are today, of how you approach it, and some of the wins and losses that you want to share?
I think the first thing is really understanding the political environment of where you're negotiating with and what's going on.
Just in the layman's term, real quick, I don't want to interrupt, I want to interject, but you keep saying geopolitical, right?
Yes.
So you said, I'm thinking about the shutdown, thinking about tariffs in this particular client. Has that have impacted
All
anything?
of that. So when you look at geopolitical, what you're looking at is the political relations around the world that are connected to where you are. So with us being the U.S., we have to look at our political relations and things that are going around the world, whether there's a war in one region,
Right.
how does that impact us, or our treaty agreements that we may have with another country or region of the world. All of those things impact currency,
the exchange.
all of those things, or even in that region, specific region, if there is, political unrest,
Right.
those things are going to impact access to certain things. And how do you get it here? What is the cost? Sometimes it may be more costly, not because of the cost of producing, but because of the cost of getting it from that space to you, because of all of the obstacles and hurdles it has to go through.
So what about the deals that have afforded you the knowledge that you have today, that you had to bump your head, and also some victories that you was a part of?
So deals it's a matter of relationships.
Yes.
Building relationships, and learning who you're dealing with, and that goes with the actual individual or the corporation, as well as the culture,
Right.
and then the legalities in regards to that. So there's so many different aspects, especially when you're dealing with international agreements.
Right, because they have different timelines.
Different timelines, different understanding, procurements, contractual things. And what I've, being a child of immigrants,
Yes.
I have and I'm blessed to be able to have the perspective different than what I would say a typical American may have that has not experienced anything outside of their environment or culture, where you expect people to adapt to your beliefs and perspective and understanding, as opposed to being open to what their perspective is and what their culture is and what their understanding is and how they do business.
Right. Okay. Now, speaking of business, a lot of folks, including myself, you probably as well, have migrated down here to Atlanta, Georgia. Of late, I've seen you commonly with the mayor. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship? Because I know recently you was involved in a fundraiser that was extremely successful.
Yeah, so the city of Atlanta is one of our clients. So we supply to them. And the mayor is also, I consider him a friend.
Okay.
And I think he's been doing an excellent job in his role as the mayor for the city. And I really align with some of the initiatives that he has, particularly the international relations in continuing to connect and making the city of Atlanta international friendly and building from that, as well as the youth. I totally believe in opening up and making opportunity for our students and our youth and getting them to participate in the business and understanding what's going on, so that they're building their experience. And I truly believe that their perspective sheds a different light that can be very valuable in a company, especially a growing company.
Right. And I want you to share the victory as far as the fundraiser.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. It's a great win, and I think it's worth sharing.
Thank you. So the mayor's office had asked me to... Mayor Andre had asked me, his office had asked me to sponsor a fundraising event. Originally, I was just like, everybody that I know that I would think to invite are either hosting or would already have gone to another one of the events.
Okay.
And then I thought about it some more, and I was like, wait a minute. I was part of the mayor's delegation to South Africa. I had already had relationships and been to South Africa a few times before that. And I deal on an international level with a lot of our manufacturing partners and clients.
Right.
And I thought about how, from my perspective, when I would attend events where the mayor would be at, I did not often see the groups of people internationally that I communicate and connect with as well at those certain events.
Right.
And I did not see the mayor or saw the connection in regards to that.
Okay.
So I felt that there was a gap. And so I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to host a fundraising event, and it's going to be the International Friends Alliance for the mayor for his reelection.
Okay.
And so we invited all of our international community that is based here in Atlanta, as well as international companies that were considering Atlanta to open up an office or a base and establish their companies here in the city.
Right.
And what we hosted was a fireside chat. And that was an opportunity for us to have a conversation with the mayor and talk about his initiatives and how it relates to the international community, as well as the students, and how that impacts the community as a whole, and all of those initiatives. I had college student volunteers from Clark, from UGA, from GSU, from Spelman, from Morehouse that volunteered, and it was quite successful for a fundraiser, my first fundraiser, and I had an amazing committee that worked with us, and we raised almost $40,000.
That's what I'm saying. Get to it. Get to the money. We did this and we got the money.
We got the money.
It's important because that's going to help provide the resources
Absolutely.
to properly position the kids for success.
Yes.
And equip them with the right resources to allow them to be their best version of themselves. And one of the events that he does annually that I make sure that I attend is the Dream event.
And we hosted it last year, not this year because I was out of the country, but last year we sponsored all of the Dream shirts.
Yeah. The thing I love the most about him is he's very visible.
He is.
Very approachable.
Yeah.
And personable. And he takes the time to listen to you if you do have the good fortune of talking to him, which, again, he makes himself very accessible. So that's not really
he's very relatable.
Difficult if you want to do that. You know what I mean? And so I've told him multiple times that that's something I do enjoy. That's something that definitely differentiates him versus others that hold that title.
Yes.
Maybe in other cities. And I think that definitely is a great asset.
It is.
That he brings, and so he dance. You know what I mean? The brother can dance, and he's
very ATL.
That's what I'm saying. I thoroughly enjoy that as well.
Being attractive and being in a male-dominant industry, and whether it's because they are trying to take advantage of me, or they think that I don't belong in the industry, or even if it's not even personal, or because I'm a woman, it's just a cutthroat industry.
Yes.
And you have to know how to navigate and deal with the different personalities and businesses. I mean, I've had old white men literally talk me into tears, telling me that I do not belong.
Yeah.
And this is not mine, and I need to sit in my place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you just chronicled the history of that particular industry, and it's not like a one-off, right? Yeah, they're gonna try to intimidate you because you're disrupting, right? You're disrupting the status quo.
And I don't look like
you don't look like it. You don't speak like it. You don't come from it, and you're starting from scratch. This is something that I would imagine is generational.
It is.
Right?
So like I said, my parents worked in the factories when they migrated to the U.S. and Rhode Island. My grandfather also imported and exported, and so did my grandmother, between Cape Verde and the U.S.
Right. But I don't want to skip over this because I think this is a good lesson and good conversation to have as far as messaging to younger, beautiful women who want to go their separate, go create their own path.
Yes.
And they're going to encounter this. This is inevitable. If you want to be successful,
it is.
This
Always.
is something. So how do you handle that when people come unapologetically and overtly that, okay, if you want to do business, we got to do business.
I think so. Originally, I was really offended all the time, and I would get really upset because I was like, I'm so tired of people trying to date me when I'm trying to do business. You know what I mean? I've got kids, I got to feed them. And I was getting offended all the time and getting upset.
What was offending you though? Why?
We can do business, but we'll talk about it over dinner.
Okay.
Why are we talking about business at dinner time?
Right. Now, were you setting boundaries?
And I would have to set boundaries, but then also understanding how to navigate in certain industries and groups of people, but also learning to manage those circumstances and leveraging the resources that I have.
Right. No, 100%. And I want to be abundantly clear. These are just curiosity.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
You know, no judgment or nothing like that. But it's like the pink elephant in the room, right? Like when you walk in the room, hello. You know what I mean? And so I would imagine you encountering this isn't the first time. I would imagine in elementary and high school, I know at BC, there was, you know what I mean? So I guess the question is, were you having these conversations with aunties, friends, older confidence that you trust, other beautiful women to say, how do you handle that, just to kind of see if you could steal a play from their playbook?
So for the longest time, I didn't.
So you want, I don't get it,
I do not get it. I couldn't understand it. And I was really frustrated about it because I wasn't operating in, I wanted to do this because, look at me, I'm pretty. It was, I've got bills to pay and kids to feed, and this is what I choose to do business. And I'm here to do business and pay my bills. It was a lot of my male friends that helped me process through and understand and really understand even the male psyche and personalities, and figuring out how to navigate through it and manage it and even manipulate it to work for me.
Okay, so give some of the young ladies game, because I think I'm not going to say that. I think it's important, the earlier the better,
yes,
right? To equip yourself with the understanding, some tools, like you said, how to navigate, how to manage certain situations or conversations, because no matter the industry, right? That's a real thing, right? And that's not just a real thing on the women's side, but it's the men's side. But I want to talk about you. Help provide words and language for the younger, beautiful women, or just women in general that may be in these situations, how to communicate boundaries. I would imagine that's the word that's in front of my mind. Boundaries and clarity.
How you're received.
And it might cost you business.
Absolutely, it'll cost you business. So I think how you want to be received is how you are perceived. Meaning, if you are here to do business and you want someone to take you serious and trust you to be professional, and that you are here to complete the task of whatever it is it may be, then you have to behave accordingly in that manner. So you may not behave the same way that you might at the club with your friends.
Right.
You're not going to dress the same way as you would at the club with your friends. And I don't care what they say or what you say, you are going to be treated according to the manner that you present yourself.
Right. So you got to teach people how to treat you.
Exactly.
Right.
And that first starts with your first impressions, and then also how you articulate yourself, and then the one thing that I've always been good with is even my handshakes. If I'm in a business setting, I'm not doing this.
Right.
We're not doing this.
Right. No, that's the fish. That's the fish.
We're
thing.
doing this.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Because instantly, most men, the reaction that I get, they're like, "Oh wow, you got a strong handshake. Oh, you're here for business."
Right.
And so that already becomes a precedence in regards to, they understand, all right, so she's serious. Now I've got to kind of figure out how to navigate with her, regardless of what their intentions are.
Right.
You know?
People are going to people. And I think that's a good message. It's just be prepared, I would imagine. Be knowledgeable. I think competency,
All of that.
all of that matters a lot. Well, and I want to say thank you for addressing that, because that's inevitable. No matter, new levels, new devils, and people are gonna try things, and it's your obligation to handle your business and be vocal. But I know it's not just that black and white, so I want to say thank you for having the courage to talk about that and address this on the show. Also, I want to address, you said that you have a consulting business for young aspiring men and women that want to start their business. I want to definitely make sure we have time for you to talk about that.
Yeah. So I have a consulting business, and we do different things. I do speaking, coaching for businesses that are looking to elevate. And then we also do consulting for other businesses or governments to be able to assist them in regards to whether it's distributions, improving their supply chain, building their brand on a global scale.
Right.
A variety of different things, but all of that goes back to our skill sets and understanding in business and in the supply chain industry.
Okay.
With the coaching, I focus on having the knowledge of what it is that you do and believing, but also diving even deeper into your product, your industry. You can't talk about what it is that you do if you do not understand your full industry and the full business. So you have to do that. But also, I think the most important thing, especially for women, especially for minorities, is the confidence and audacity that is necessary to believe in yourself, to do the business, and trust that you're qualified and able to do business on a higher level. And I think what we often do is question ourselves, is not give ourselves enough credit, and also diminish our capabilities in our light because we want to be apologetic, or we don't want to be too rambunctious about what it is that we know when we know all of it.